Steve Ballmer is the former CEO of Microsoft and the current owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, known for his high-energy leadership and passionate public appearances. He went from growing up in a middle-class family in Detroit, sharing a dorm room at Harvard with Bill Gates, and selling cake mixes as a product manager at Procter & Gamble, to becoming Microsoft employee number 30 and one of the most influential executives in tech history with a net worth of over $140 billion. Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
And if you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Work hard.
If you're working harder than the person who's doing your job in your competitor, that gives you more grace. It gives you more opportunity to if you will, make a mistake, because you're going to work it through. You're going to catch up. So I absolutely believe that hard work is critical. The thing I have learned, I think, a little bit since Microsoft is you need to still retain a little bit of brain space, a little more brain space to speculate on what may come next. If you become a dreamer, not going to work. If you become totally a grinder, not going to work.
Rule number 2, adapt your leadership style.
Steve, you started as employee number 30 at Microsoft and then went to almost 100,000 people globally. You know, did your leadership style have to change? Did you have to readapt to it, or were you able to stay constant with what you thought the core values of leadership were?
No, it's a little bit of both. There are things you believe in and you keep believing in because they work for you. And then there are specifics that have to change just with size. So let me give you an example of each. I believe in making long-term bets and sticking with them. And that didn't matter if we were 31 people or 90,000 people. Got to be consistent in that, because most things don't really take hold and make success unless you stay after them. On the other hand, style leadership in a personal sense does have to change. 30 people, you can walk around, you can see everybody most days, and then all of a sudden you get managers, and you're a manager of managers, and then you're a manager of strategies, and then you're a manager of integrated strategies. So the ways in which you evolve that certainly changed over time. Some of the principles, when you're a smaller company, you're just absolutely heads down on your product, your sales, your competition. There's a little bit more of a broad set of external constituencies that you have to spend time with, and you have to project a little bit different image as a company. So things do evolve, and yet, let me say, the core pillars of what's important in business and leadership, they stay the same.
Rule number 3 is find your passion.
When you give business advice to people, which I'm sure you do all the time, what are some of the biggest lessons that you learned during your course of business?
Yeah, I'd say a few things. Number 1, folks have to find something that they're either passionate about or they develop passion about. Not every job or not every career will you have passion about at the start, but sometimes that can really cascade. But you need to look. You actually have to have a plan to see what's out there. Give an example. When I was an undergraduate, my dad worked for Ford, but I interviewed with about 32 different companies on campus just to learn, okay, what is it like to work in the back office of a bank? What does it look like to be an accountant? What does it look like to, be a salesperson? I think it's really important to take that on as a mission to find a passion, not hope you randomly luck out and find one. So that'd be number 1.
Rule number 4 is seize the day.
There's a Latin expression which I think is great. I love it. It was in a now very old movie called The Dead Poets Society. But the line of the movie was carpe diem, seize the day. The opportunities are there, but you got to reach out and pick them up. You've got to grab at them. Some of you may have already done that at the U, in your classes, in other students that you met, in your extracurricular activities, but grab them. Don't be afraid to make a mistake, because you know what you can do if you grab the wrong one? Drop it and pick up another one. It's okay. Seize the day. I think back of all of the luck, but also the times that were in front of me to seize the day. I don't know what got me to drop out of business school and come to Microsoft. My parents thought I was a whack job. Neither one of them graduated college, and they thought this was really a wild idea. I was lucky. I seized the day. Microsoft. One day, some guys fly in from IBM, and all of a sudden we figure out we could actually provide all the software they need for this thing that became the personal computer. People, Bill, Paul, they had the wisdom to seize the day when that opportunity presented itself. And yet, when you think of all the opportunities, when I think back of all the opportunities I've had, the one that was most important was an opportunity I got in 1969. Sitting in my junior high school class, I was in a public junior high, not very stimulated at the time, and over the loudspeaker, they said that a private high school in our area that I'd never heard of was giving scholarship tests that weekend. I told my mother I wanted to take them. She said, that's fine as long as you get a scholarship because we can't afford to send you there. But that's really where I got switched on. Switched on in math, switched on personally, energized in a way that never could be turned back. And I am very thankful for that opportunity. Yes, there's a lot of luck in opportunity, but there's a lot of seizing the day. And I encourage you all to reach out and carpe diem, really seize the opportunities that are in front of you.
If you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you. It covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write your biggest takeaways, and helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just click the link in the description to go grab it. Let's start building real momentum in your life and business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5 is pick the right direction.
How did you view that balance between vision and execution?
Let me say, the most important thing in leadership, I say it in a simple phrase, ideas matter. If you're a great leader and you have great accountability and it's incredible charisma and you pick the right people and you send them the wrong direction, forget about it. I like to think of that movie, Thelma and Louise. They were charismatic, brilliant people, and if you followed them, you'd still be dead when they drove off the cliff at the end. So I think the most important thing is really picking the right direction. Picking the right people, I'll put that second on the list. Strong sense of accountability, that'd be probably the third thing I would say, and the ability to see the playing field. I mean, in some sense, that's part of leadership, not just the vision on where we're going now, but you see what's coming at you, you see what things are going to change, because the leader can almost do that more uniquely than anybody else, because everybody's focusing new information on the leader. So the ability to see things and have the, whether it's court vision in basketball or the kind of vision quarterbacks need to have in football, I think you have to have that to be a great leader of a company as well.
Rule number 6 is believe in luck.
When you say success is luck, what you really mean by that, I think, and what a lot of us mean when we say that is because I'm expected to put in the work. And if I fail, then that's something I can fix. That's probably something that's my own fault. The minute that you attribute your failure to luck, you're now saying that your own success is outside of your purview.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, to me, it's another way of saying not everything is controllable. You can control, we say this in basketball too, as owner of the LA Clippers, control what you can control. You can control how much work you put in. You can work on your kind of mental mindset so you really can be, okay, miss that one, next play, next play, next play. Can I tell you just a short Microsoft story that sort of confirmed my view of luck. Within a month after me coming to Microsoft, we got a call for some guys from IBM, and IBM was the behemoth of computing in 1980. People might not know that now. Younger people, my kids who are in the late 20s and 30s, they'll say, what does that company do anyway? But back then, they were the computer industry. And these guys call and they say, hey, we want to come talk to you about something. We're not going to tell you what it's about. and you'll sign a non-disclosure agreement, and then we'll tell you, and that's how it'll work. And we said, okay, when do you want to come? And they said, well, we're down the street now. I don't know, I may be being a little bit exaggerational, but it sticks in my head. And so all good, and they wanted to buy an operating system from us for the PC they said they were going to build. Whoa! Now, we didn't have an operating system. We had a bunch of language software, and there was some confusion because we had licensed one for a variety of reasons. Anyway, we say we don't have one, but we really wanted them in the PC business. So we literally called the number one operating systems company at the time, a company called Digital Research, and said, we're going to put some guys on the phone, treat them right. And IBM talked to them, same spiel they gave us. They fly down there, but the CEO at the time was out flying. His wife, who was a business partner of his, was there, refused to sign the non-disclosure agreement. We then said, hey, we'll get you an operating system. And if there isn't some luck in that, I don't know what luck is. So early on in my business career, we were the great, beneficiary of good luck.
Rule number 7 is get in the weight room.
I apologize in advance for the sports reference, but I would say get in the weight room of life. What do you do in a weight room if you're an athlete or a kind of retired senior citizen like me? You prepare. You build new capabilities. You get stronger. You get faster. You figure out how to get leverage. And yet in your business lives, those are precisely the right messages. One of the things that I think has made Microsoft the company that it is today is that we weren't afraid to get in the weight room. In the late 80s, we had plenty of customers, investors tell us we would, quote, never be an enterprise company. Today, many people think the bulk of the $350 billion of value in Microsoft is in our enterprise business. We weren't afraid to sit there even before we had it figured out and just work to prepare, to get better, to build new capabilities. And whether we're talking about what you need to do for your startup, for the hospital that you join, or for yourself personally, you have to build new capabilities, new quickness, and new leverage.
Rule number 8 is share your vision.
How do you get a company that's now, 120,000 people? It was 100 when you left, to be marching in the same direction, to be sharing purpose, to see the excitement and the vision in the same way, even though they're doing different things in different parts?
In a way, it's super easy. And in a way, it'll never happen. So how is it super easy? Well, there are focusing items. Big product launches. Everybody knows a Windows launch, that's a big deal. Nobody's confused about that. And that is a riveting event. Whether you're writing applications, building the hardware, a new Windows release is a riveting event. And everybody kind of gets that. The stock price, for better or for worse, it doesn't really reflect what's going on, but it's kind of like watching, what should I say, the win-loss column on a sports team. The truth of the matter is people are going to look at it. Right. What really matters is, do you make it in the playoffs, and can you win in the playoffs? I'll say that from a basketball perspective, because that's kind of Peter and I both have a passion around that.
But the stock price doesn't tell people, okay, how do I operate? What do I do?
But it tells people how we're doing. Part of how you operate, part of the credibility you have is, what are the symbols on the outside? Third thing you do is you do have some kind of scorecard, particularly for sales guys, because all of the initiatives that you're running or doing, they all have to land in Poland. And so you really have to just say, what are the 15 most important, that sounds a big number, but we got a lot of people in Poland. What are the 15, or Microsoft has a lot of people since I'm gone now. What are the 15 or 20 things that are most important to land in Poland? So you actually have to have a consensus building process there. At headquarters, you have to work really hard that development teams understand their points of intersection, and that you mandate that that happens really well, and you review it and you inspect it. But you can't really expect every team to know everything about or care that much. If you're working on Azure cloud services, you're probably not focused in on the specifics of what goes on with the new release of Halo, unless you like Halo, which many people do. But you do need to know, hey, look, we're trying to get Xbox Live built on Azure. How does that work well? So you can't try to boil the ocean. Pick what you need to pick, focus in on it, and PR, major product release, stock, those will all also be, we did a big company meeting, 2 of them, one for Salesforce, 17,000 people, another one, or 15,000 people, another one for people in Seattle, that could be 27,000 people. And still not all of 100,000 people. And I think they've upgraded and they're doing a whole different format. But you do what you can.
Number 9 is stay optimistic.
Optimism. Smart people love to be negative. It's my basic sort of summary of life. Smart people love to be critical. They love to be negative. They love to find fault. And you have to succeed. On the other hand, if you really want to be successful, you have to stay optimistic. Colin Powell, who ran the Joint Chiefs of Staff for the U.S., has written books on leadership, but he's got one line I love. Optimism is a force multiplier. Some of the folks I was sitting down with, I don't know what you call it, the other part of the union, some of the union members before we started, we were talking about goofy YouTube speeches and videos that some of them had watched of me speaking. And why? I am optimistic, and leaders, whether they're optimistic or not, you better project it. Because if you're not leading with optimism, if you don't believe, nobody else is going to go your direction. Nobody's going to be with you. Nobody's going to follow. Nobody's really going to buy in.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is have fun.
Have fun. You're not going to have fun every minute of every day. I don't care what job you take, any job you take. I don't care how well rewarded you are. I don't care anything about that. It won't happen all the time, but you better be having fun in what you do. The truth is, a lot of success won't just come from ideas and being hardcore and being in the weight room. A lot of your success is going to come from luck. I know that was true in my case. And I know, frankly, it's the case of almost every successful entrepreneur I met in the tech business in the last 34 years. People will make it seem like it was the grand master plan in all cases of an all-knowing and all-seeing genius. That and a lot of luck is what really leads to success. So given that you're going to have a lot of luck, you better be having a lot of fun. Don't take the next job or don't do the next startup because you should. Do it because you want to. Because you can think of nothing better, more exciting, more energizing to get up every day and go do than whatever it is that you selected. Be patient and be patient when you get the first signs that it's not fun, because time must be measured. Constantly be improving yourself, because only by improving yourself will you maybe find that next idea. I'm sure there are many people in this audience who'd like to do a startup, and yet the first law of doing a startup is you got to have an idea. But if you're having fun, if you're building capabilities, if you're treasuring your time, if you're building your muscle and being hardcore, the good ideas will come to you.
That's LA Clippers owner Steve Ballmer dunking a basketball. Whoa! Pretty impressive, even if the former CEO of Microsoft had to use a trampoline.
You better stay on top of yourself and really measure. Unless people measure themselves, you don't get any better. You cannot succeed unless you are really holding yourself accountable and owning outcomes. Believe me, I've seen plenty of people at Microsoft, various places in the tech industry, brilliant people, who when it came time to execute and actually count success, maybe not so much. Maybe not so much. In order to do that, you have to actually know what the goal is.
If the goal was to get to 450 million users and then sell to Facebook, WhatsApp did a hell of a job. Right? I mean that. It's not it's a hell of a job at 19 billion, 55 people. That's a hell of a job. But you have to decide, what outcome do you want? Bill Gates was offered $7.5 million to sell all of Microsoft in 1979. It would have been a rich guy if he had taken it. Richer if he didn't, but a rich guy. But even putting that aside, the impact on society wouldn't have been the same. We had discussions with Facebook about buying Facebook, but Zuckerberg knew what he viewed as an outcome that he really desired and was willing to put in the blood, sweat, and tears, just like we were. So execution and measurement are hugely important, and yet people let themselves off the hook.
And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. Believe. For 10 more amazing rules from Bill Gates, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
I'm in meetings a lot. My calendar gets very full with those. And then at night, after the kids have gone to bed, I'm on email a great deal. I get messages during the day. That's my chance to give long responses. And then over the weekend,